It's late in the evening. The house is quiet. You settle into your favorite chair, a small plate of fruit in hand. The sweet aroma is comforting, familiar. You take a bite, and a gentle burst of flavor tells you this is your nightly reward, a healthy choice you've been told is good for you. The natural sugars melt across your tongue, the coolness soothes you, and you lean back thinking, this is exactly what my doctor would want me to eat instead of cookies or cake. But deep inside your body, a silent chain reaction begins. Your digestive system starts breaking down that fruit, releasing a rush of fructose into your bloodstream. Within minutes, your pancreas pumps out insulin to deal with the sugar. At the same time, your liver starts processing the load. Yet because it's nighttime, your metabolism is slower, your body temperature has dropped, and your organs are operating in rest mode. The excess sugar lingers longer, causing subtle but harmful stress to your blood vessels. As you drift off to sleep, your blood vessels constrict, your blood pressure rises, and your heart is forced to work harder. You don't feel it now, but the risk is building, minute by minute, night after night, until one morning, it could be too late. A sudden dizziness, slurred speech, or weakness on one side of your body might be the first and only warning before a stroke strikes. Here's the part most seniors don't realize. The danger doesn't just come from unhealthy foods, like fried snacks or sugary sodas. It can come from a fruit you've always believed was your ally in health, one that might be perfectly fine at breakfast, but dangerous when eaten before bed. As a neurologist, I've treated countless patients who were shocked to discover their nightly fruit habit was working against them. One gentleman in his late 60s told me, "Doctor, I've never smoked, I barely drink, I walk every day. My only indulgence is a bowl of fruit before bed." Yet he had suffered a mini-stroke. When we reviewed his habits, the culprit became clear. The type of fruit, the portion size, and the timing were creating the perfect storm for vascular damage during sleep. You see, as we age, the body's systems become more sensitive to timing. Your heart rate, blood pressure, and blood sugar all follow circadian rhythms, natural cycles tied to the time of day. At night, the body is supposed to focus on repair and recovery. Blood pressure should dip, the heart should rest, and the brain should receive steady, oxygen-rich blood flow. But if you flood your system with fruit sugar at the wrong time, those rhythms are disrupted. Some fruits, especially tropical varieties, are high in fructose and acids that can trigger spikes in blood sugar and nighttime blood pressure. This combination not only increases the risk of stroke, but can also disrupt your sleep, strain your heart, and even worsen acid reflux, which in turn can affect breathing during the night. What makes this even more dangerous for seniors is the stacking effect. Many older adults are already on medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or heart rhythm. Some fruits contain compounds that interfere with these drugs, making them less effective, or, in some cases, dangerously amplifying their effects. When that happens at night, while you're unaware, it can lead to a sudden crisis before you even wake up. One of the most heartbreaking cases I've seen involved a woman in her early 70s who insisted on her healthy bedtime ritual, a large bowl of mixed fruit, including mango, grapes, and pineapple, eaten just before sleep. She believed it was keeping her fit and preventing illness. One night, she woke with severe dizziness and couldn't stand. In the ER, scans revealed she had suffered a small but significant stroke. She recovered, but with lingering balance issues. Her nightly fruit bowl, combined with her blood pressure medication and the natural changes in her circulation after 70, had been quietly increasing her risk for years. This is why I say, healthy is not the same for a 65-year-old as it is for a 25-year-old. Your body's ability to process sugar, handle acidity, and maintain vascular flexibility changes with age. And when you eat certain fruits before bed, you're unknowingly creating the perfect environment for harm. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 9 common fruits and fruit habits that could be silently harming your heart, brain, and circulation when eaten before bed, and the safer, smarter choices you can make instead. And I promise, by the end of this, you'll never look at your nighttime snack the same way again. As you get older, your body's internal machinery doesn't operate the way it used to, and this is especially true at night. After the age of 60, your metabolism slows, your digestive system works less efficiently, and your organs, including your liver and kidneys, shift into a reduced function maintenance mode during sleep. This slowdown is a natural part of aging, but it also means that late-night eating, especially high-sugar foods like certain fruits, can have consequences that are far more dangerous than most seniors realize. When you were younger, your body could handle a surge of sugar or calories at almost any time of day. Your pancreas responded quickly, your liver processed nutrients efficiently, and your muscles soaked up glucose from your bloodstream to use as fuel. But in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, your cells become less responsive to insulin, a condition known as insulin resistance. This means that when you eat fruit late at night, your blood sugar stays elevated longer. Instead of being burned for energy, much of it is stored as fat. Or worse, it lingers in the blood, damaging the delicate lining of your arteries. This process isn't just about sugar levels, it's about the health of your entire cardiovascular system. At night, your blood pressure is supposed to drop by 10 to 20%, a phenomenon called nocturnal dipping. This drop gives your heart and blood vessels a much-needed rest. But research shows that when seniors eat late, especially sugary or acidic foods, that natural dip is blunted or eliminated. Without this rest period, your heart works harder through the night, increasing the risk of hypertension, arrhythmias, and even sudden cardiac events. Let me share a story. Mr. Douglas, 71, was a retired teacher who prided himself on eating clean. His dinner was light, but he always ended the night with a plate of fresh pineapple or watermelon. He told himself it was a harmless indulgence, better than cookies or ice cream. But over the years, he began noticing morning headaches, occasional dizziness when getting out of bed, and a general sense of fatigue that didn't match his otherwise active lifestyle. One morning, he awoke with blurred vision and trouble speaking. His wife rushed him to the hospital, where doctors confirmed he had experienced a transient ischemic attack, a mini-stroke. When we went through his daily habits, the connection became clear. His fruit wasn't the problem, his timing was. That late-night sugar spike kept his blood pressure elevated during the night, disrupted his sleep, and set the stage for vascular damage. Combined with age-related circulation changes, it was a silent recipe for disaster. The reality is, seniors need to think about when they eat, just as much as what they eat. Your body's internal clock, your circadian rhythm, controls not only sleep, but also digestion, hormone release, and blood sugar regulation. Eating high-sugar fruits at night sends conflicting signals to your body. Instead of focusing on repair and regeneration, your system has to divert energy to digestion and sugar control, leaving less time for essential nighttime recovery. So, the next time you reach for that healthy fruit bowl before bed, remember this. Your aging metabolism processes it differently than it once did, and those changes can quietly push you toward high blood pressure, heart strain, and even cognitive decline. And if you think the sugar in fruit is the only problem, wait until you hear about a lesser-known danger, how fructose overload can quietly stiffen your blood vessels and make every heartbeat work harder than it should. That's exactly what we'll uncover next. Fructose, the natural sugar found in fruit, often gets a free pass in most health conversations. People hear natural and think safe. But for seniors, especially when consumed late at night, fructose can act like a slow, silent saboteur, targeting your blood vessels and heart health. And the most dangerous part? You won't feel the damage happening until it's too late. Here's what's going on beneath the surface. Unlike glucose, which every cell in your body can use for energy, fructose is processed almost entirely by your liver. This puts a heavy workload on the organ, especially in the hours before bed, when your metabolism naturally slows down. As the liver breaks down fructose, it produces triglycerides, fats that can circulate in your blood, contribute to plaque buildup in your arteries, and increase your risk of heart disease. For seniors, whose arteries are already less flexible due to age-related changes, this can have an even greater impact. High triglyceride levels contribute to a condition called endothelial dysfunction, where the inner lining of your blood vessels becomes damaged and less able to relax. Over time, this stiffness makes it harder for blood to flow freely, raising your risk of high blood pressure, heart attacks, and strokes. Take the case of Mrs. Carter, a 69-year-old grandmother who adored tropical fruits. Mangoes were her favorite, and she enjoyed them every evening as a bedtime treat. "It's better than chocolate," she told me during our first appointment. But over the years, her cholesterol and triglyceride levels began to creep upward. She started feeling short of breath during walks and experienced occasional chest discomfort at night. After running some vascular tests, we found early signs of atherosclerosis, narrowing of her arteries, and mild stiffening of her aorta. When I explained how her nighttime mango habit was contributing to high triglycerides and damaging her blood vessel lining, she was stunned. "I thought fruit couldn't hurt me," she said, shaking her head. The truth was that it wasn't the mango itself. It was the high fructose load hitting her system when her body was least prepared to handle it. The science is clear. In older adults, repeated nighttime fructose spikes can accelerate vascular aging. This means your arteries lose their elasticity faster, your blood pressure stays higher for longer, and your heart has to work overtime while you sleep. And while younger people might recover from these effects quickly, seniors often see the damage accumulate over years, leading to sudden, life-changing events. But there's another layer of danger. Fructose metabolism also produces uric acid as a byproduct. High uric acid levels have been linked to gout, kidney disease, and even hypertension. Eating high fructose fruits before bed can raise your uric acid levels overnight, giving your body no chance to flush it out until morning, by which time it's already had hours to do harm. I've had patients tell me, "But doctor, I only eat 1 or 2 pieces of fruit at night." Unfortunately, for some fruits, like mangoes, grapes, and pineapples, even small portions can deliver a heavy fructose load that your aging metabolism struggles to process in the late hours. If this all sounds alarming, it should. The danger of fructose overload isn't about weight gain or cavities. It's about the integrity of your blood vessels and the long-term health of your heart and brain. And once those vessels start to stiffen, the risk of a serious cardiovascular event rises sharply. And if you think fructose is the only nighttime enemy, you're in for another surprise. In the next section, I'll introduce you to a real patient whose nightly fruit habit didn't just raise her sugar, it triggered an event so sudden she barely survived. Mr. Harrison was 68, a retired carpenter with a strong build and a quiet, steady demeanor. He spent most of his days working in his garden or tinkering with wood projects in his workshop. On the surface, he seemed like the picture of healthy aging. No smoking, minimal alcohol, daily walks, and a diet rich in whole foods. But he had one nightly ritual he swore by, a large, perfectly ripe mango before bed. "It helps me sleep," he once told me, smiling proudly. "Better than any sleeping pill. And it's fruit. It's got to be good for me, right?" For years, Mr. Harrison enjoyed his mango in peace, but his wife began to notice subtle changes. He'd sometimes wake up with headaches, he'd complain of feeling lightheaded in the mornings, and on rare occasions, she saw his hands tremble when pouring his coffee. He brushed it off as just getting older. One spring morning, however, everything changed. Around 6 a.m., she found him sitting on the edge of the bed, his face pale, struggling to speak. His words came out garbled, and one side of his mouth drooped. She called an ambulance immediately. By the time they reached the ER, the symptoms had started to ease, but the scans told the story. Mr. Harrison had experienced a transient ischemic attack, a warning sign that a full-blown stroke could be next. When I met him during his follow-up visit, we went through every detail of his lifestyle. His blood work showed elevated triglycerides, borderline high fasting blood sugar, and signs of early vascular stiffness. His blood pressure readings, taken over a 24-hour monitor, revealed something crucial. At night, instead of dipping into the healthy rest range, his blood pressure stayed stubbornly high. This pattern was no coincidence. His nightly mango was delivering a heavy load of fructose, causing post-meal blood sugar spikes that lasted well into the night. These spikes triggered his body to release more insulin, which in turn caused subtle fluid retention and increased nighttime blood pressure. The combination was quietly damaging his blood vessels over years, setting the stage for that early morning episode. The problem wasn't just the sugar content, it was the timing. After the age of 60, the body's ability to process fructose efficiently diminishes. At night, your metabolism slows further, making it even harder to manage the sugar load. The liver is less active, circulation slows, and the delicate endothelial lining of your blood vessels becomes more vulnerable to stress. I explained to Mr. Harrison that while mangoes are nutrient-rich and full of antioxidants, they are also one of the highest fructose fruits. Eating them right before sleep was essentially forcing his cardiovascular system into overdrive during hours meant for repair and recovery. The solution wasn't to give up mangoes forever, it was to change when and how he ate them. By shifting his fruit intake to the morning or early afternoon, pairing it with a source of protein or healthy fat, and avoiding high fructose fruits late in the day, we were able to bring his nighttime blood pressure down within weeks. 6 months later, Mr. Harrison came in for a checkup looking healthier and more energetic. His blood sugar was stable, his triglycerides had dropped, and most importantly, he hadn't experienced any further stroke-like episodes. "I still enjoy my mango," he told me with a grin, "but now it's with my breakfast, not my bedtime." Stories like Mr. Harrison's aren't rare. Many seniors unknowingly turn their nighttime fruit habit into a slow, silent health hazard. And while mango was his personal trigger, other fruits can cause similar harm, especially when they disrupt your body's natural rest cycles. And if you think this only applies to tropical fruits, the next section will surprise you. We're going to look at how late-night sugar spikes from any fruit can interfere with one of the most important parts of your health, deep restorative sleep. Sleep is supposed to be the body's ultimate repair session. Your brain clears out waste, your heart gets a rest from the day's workload, and your cells focus on healing. But for seniors, a simple late-night fruit snack can quietly sabotage this process, especially when it triggers a rapid spike in insulin. Here's what happens. When you eat fruit high in natural sugars close to bedtime, your blood sugar rises quickly. In response, your pancreas releases insulin to move that sugar into your cells for energy or storage. This surge of insulin does more than just manage sugar. It acts as a powerful signal that your body is still in daytime mode, telling your systems to stay alert rather than prepare for rest. For younger people, this disruption might be minor, but for seniors whose sleep cycles are already lighter and more fragile, the impact can be dramatic. Elevated insulin levels at night have been shown to reduce deep, slow-wave sleep, the very stage your brain and body need most for memory consolidation, immune system regulation, and tissue repair. The result, you may still get 7 or 8 hours in bed, but you wake up feeling as if you barely slept. Your mind feels foggy, your joints ache, and your energy is drained before the day even begins. Over time, this lack of restorative sleep can weaken your immune system, raise blood pressure, and even accelerate cognitive decline. One of my patients, Mrs. Robinson, 74, came to me complaining of constant fatigue and forgetfulness. She swore she was sleeping a full 8 hours every night. But when we tracked her sleep with a home monitor, we found she was barely getting 30 minutes of deep sleep per night. When I asked about her evening routine, she admitted to enjoying a big bowl of grapes while watching TV before bed. Grapes, while packed with antioxidants, are also loaded with easily absorbed sugars. The nightly insulin surge from that habit was keeping her body in a low-grade state of alertness throughout the night, blocking her from entering deep sleep cycles. Once she cut out late-night fruit and moved it to the mid-morning, her sleep quality improved within 2 weeks. She started waking up feeling clear-headed. Her memory lapses decreased, and her energy level rose dramatically. "I didn't realize my healthy snack was the reason I felt so tired," she told me, shaking her head. The insulin-sleep connection is particularly dangerous for seniors because it works silently. You won't necessarily feel a racing heart or notice an upset stomach. Instead, you'll just gradually lose the deep rest your body needs, and you might blame it on age, stress, or just getting older. But the culprit could be sitting in your fruit bowl. And there's another twist. Poor quality sleep worsens insulin resistance. This means that if you regularly eat sugary fruits before bed, you're not only sleeping worse, you're also training your body to handle sugar even less effectively. It's a vicious cycle that can speed up the onset of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and even dementia. So, while cutting late-night fruit might seem like a small change, it can be one of the most powerful moves you make for your health after 60. Your sleep will be deeper, your mornings will be brighter, and your heart and brain will thank you. But sugar isn't the only issue. In the next section, we'll explore a danger many seniors overlook: how certain healthy fruits, especially citrus, can interact with common medications, and why eating them before bed can put your heart under serious strain. For many seniors, a juicy orange or a glass of freshly squeezed grapefruit juice before bed feels like the perfect way to end the day. It's refreshing, packed with vitamin C, and seems like the opposite of an unhealthy habit. But for anyone over 60, especially those on certain heart or blood pressure medications, this nightly ritual can quietly strain your cardiovascular system and, in some cases, lead to dangerous interactions while you sleep. The main culprit is a group of natural compounds found in citrus fruits called furanocoumarins. These compounds are particularly concentrated in grapefruits, pomelos, and some varieties of oranges. While harmless for most people, they can interfere with an enzyme in your small intestine called CYP3A4. This enzyme's job is to help break down and deactivate many common medications before they enter your bloodstream. When furanocoumarins block CYP3A4, your body absorbs a much higher dose of the medication than intended. For seniors taking drugs like calcium channel blockers, often prescribed for high blood pressure, statins for cholesterol, or anti-arrhythmia medications, this can cause medication levels to skyrocket in the blood. The results can be dramatic: unexpectedly low blood pressure, dangerous heart rhythm changes, muscle breakdown, or even kidney injury. At night, the risks can be even greater. Your heart rate and blood pressure are supposed to stabilize as you sleep, but when medication levels surge due to a fruit interaction, your cardiovascular system can be pushed into unstable territory. In some cases, this has led to fainting, arrhythmias, or early morning medical emergencies. Mrs. Lee, a 72-year-old retired nurse, learned this the hard way. She had been on a low-dose calcium channel blocker for mild hypertension. Every night, she would peel a grapefruit and enjoy it as her bedtime treat. Over time, she began experiencing bouts of dizziness when getting out of bed in the morning. One night, she woke to use the bathroom and fainted, hitting her shoulder on the floor. At the hospital, her blood pressure was alarmingly low, and blood tests revealed elevated levels of her heart medication, more than twice what her prescription intended. When we traced her routine, the culprit was obvious: the grapefruit. The furanocoumarins were preventing her body from breaking down the medication efficiently, causing the drug to accumulate in her system overnight. Once she switched to non-interfering fruits earlier in the day and avoided grapefruit entirely, her symptoms disappeared. It's not just grapefruit. Certain Seville oranges, pomelos, and even some limes can cause similar interactions. And while the effects are most dramatic with specific medications, seniors taking any prescription should be cautious. The combination of slower nighttime metabolism, age-related changes in liver function, and drug-fruit interactions can create a perfect storm for heart strain. If you're over 60 and on medication, the safest approach is to check your medication labels and talk to your pharmacist or doctor about potential fruit interactions. Avoid citrus fruits known for interference, especially grapefruit, in the hours before bed. If you enjoy citrus, have it in the morning or early afternoon, when your body is better equipped to process both the fruit and your medications. Remember, even the healthiest food can become harmful if eaten at the wrong time or in the wrong context. And when it comes to citrus and certain medications, the danger is magnified at night, when your body is meant to rest, not struggle to stabilize your blood pressure and heart rhythm. In TLC, the next section, I'll share the story of Mrs. Lee in more detail, how one small habit nearly cost her life, and the changes that not only saved her health, but gave her more energy and stability than she'd felt in years. Mrs. Lee had spent her career as a nurse, caring for others with diligence and compassion. Now 72, she was enjoying retirement, gardening in the mornings, walking with friends in the afternoons, and reading in the evenings. She was also meticulous about her health. She took her medications exactly as prescribed, kept her medical appointments, and maintained what she believed was a balanced diet. Part of that diet was her cherished nighttime ritual: half a grapefruit, peeled and eaten slowly while she watched her favorite TV drama before bed. To her, this was a double win: refreshing, vitamin-packed, and low in calories. "I've been telling my friends for years that grapefruit is my secret to staying healthy," she told me later. But over time, subtle problems began creeping in. She noticed occasional lightheadedness when standing up in the morning. Once or twice, she felt her vision narrow, as if a gray curtain was sliding into place. She brushed it off as just a bit of low blood sugar and never thought to connect it to her evening fruit. Then, one night around 2 a.m., she woke up to use the bathroom. As she stood, a wave of dizziness swept over her. The next thing she remembered was waking up on the floor, her shoulder aching from the fall. Her husband, panicked, called an ambulance. At the ER, her blood pressure was alarmingly low, far below the healthy nighttime range. Blood tests revealed something unusual. Her calcium channel blocker levels were almost double what they should have been. For a nurse with decades of experience, this was baffling. She hadn't changed her dose, missed a pill, or made any obvious mistake. That's when I asked her about her evening routine. As soon as she mentioned the grapefruit, the mystery unraveled. Grapefruit contains furanocoumarins, compounds that block the CYP3A4 enzyme in the small intestine. This enzyme's job is to break down certain medications before they enter the bloodstream. When it's blocked, the medication enters in much higher doses than intended, turning a safe dose into a dangerous one. For Mrs. Lee, eating grapefruit right before bed meant her body absorbed her heart medication in excessive amounts, just as her metabolism was slowing for the night. Instead of resting, her cardiovascular system was forced into an unnatural low-pressure state, depriving her brain of adequate blood flow and leading to her fainting spell. We made immediate changes. She stopped eating grapefruit altogether and replaced her evening snack with a small handful of almonds and a few slices of pear. Fruits without medication interactions and with a gentler impact on nighttime blood sugar. Within 2 weeks, her dizziness vanished, her energy returned, and for the first time in months, she woke up feeling clear-headed and steady on her feet. Her story is a perfect example of how even the most health-conscious seniors can be caught off guard by the hidden dangers of certain nighttime fruit choices. It's not about giving up fruit forever. It's about knowing which ones to avoid, especially when you take prescription medications. Sadly, Mrs. Lee is not alone. I've met many seniors who suffered falls, fainting, or sudden blood pressure drops because of this exact interaction. The key is awareness. Your nighttime snack should work with your medications and your body's natural rhythms, not against them. And while citrus medication interactions are a major concern, there's another nighttime challenge that affects nearly every senior, whether or not they're on medication: the natural slowdown of circulation during sleep and how certain fruits make it worse. That's what we'll explore next. When you lie down at night, your body begins a series of complex adjustments designed to conserve energy and focus on repair. One of these adjustments is a natural slowdown in circulation. Your heart rate drops, your blood vessels relax, and your blood pressure should fall by about 10 to 20% compared to daytime levels, a process known as nocturnal dipping. This nightly dip is essential. It reduces the workload on your heart, allows your arteries to rest, and ensures steady, efficient blood flow to the brain. But in many seniors, this circulation slowdown can also make it harder for the body to manage certain types of food, especially high sugar or high acid fruits, eaten right before bed. Here's why. When you eat fruit late at night, your digestive system must pull extra blood into the stomach and intestines to handle the incoming sugar and nutrients. This means less blood is available for other organs, including the brain. For younger people, the body can compensate easily, but for seniors, especially those with narrowed arteries, stiff blood vessels, or mild heart disease, this diversion can tip the balance toward inadequate circulation in critical areas. The result can be subtle at first, waking up groggy, mild headaches, or feeling unusually weak in the morning. Over time, however, the effects can accumulate. Inadequate brain blood flow during sleep has been linked to memory problems, balance issues, and even an increased risk of small, silent strokes that show no immediate symptoms but cause lasting damage. I once treated Mr. Sanders, a 74-year-old retired postal worker, who was experiencing recurring morning headaches and occasional numbness in his fingers. His medical tests showed mild carotid artery narrowing and reduced circulation to the brain during sleep. When we reviewed his habits, we found he regularly ate a large bowl of pineapple or grapes at 9 or 10 p.m. The sugar load from these fruits, combined with his body's natural nighttime circulation dip, was straining his cardiovascular system and limiting oxygen delivery to his brain. We made 2 changes: shifting his fruit consumption to earlier in the day and replacing his evening snack with a low-sugar, high-protein option, such as Greek yogurt with a sprinkle of nuts. Within a month, his headaches stopped, his morning energy improved, and his numbness episodes disappeared. There's also another layer to this problem. High-acid fruits like pineapple, oranges, and kiwi can trigger acid reflux in seniors, especially when eaten right before lying down. Acid reflux not only disturbs sleep, but can also cause microaspiration, tiny amounts of stomach acid entering the airways, which further reduces nighttime oxygen levels and strains the heart. If you combine slower nighttime circulation with the added stress of high blood sugar, insulin spikes, or reflux, you create a perfect storm that undermines the very rest your body is supposed to be getting. And the danger is silent. You may not realize anything is wrong until fatigue, brain fog, or even a medical event forces you to pay attention. The good news is that circulation-friendly nighttime habits can make a huge difference. Seniors should aim to finish their last meal or snack at least 2 to 3 hours before bed, choose low glycemic options, and stay hydrated throughout the day to keep blood volume steady at night. But circulation problems aren't the only risk from nighttime fruit. Some fruits, especially those high in acids, can cause a rapid heart rate and increased nighttime wakefulness, even in people who think they're otherwise healthy. Pineapple is one of the most common offenders, and in the next section, you'll learn how one simple evening habit involving this fruit can disrupt your sleep and heart rhythm in ways you might never expect. For many people, pineapple is the taste of the tropics, sweet, tangy, and bursting with juice. It's loaded with vitamin C, manganese, and an enzyme called bromelain that can aid digestion. On paper, it looks like a perfect healthy snack. But for seniors, especially when eaten at night, pineapple can quietly create a dangerous chain of events that affect both sleep quality and heart health. The first issue is acidity. Pineapple has a pH of around 3.5, making it one of the more acidic fruits you can eat. When consumed shortly before lying down, that acid can easily reflux back into the esophagus, especially in seniors whose lower esophageal sphincter, the muscle that keeps stomach contents from flowing upward, has weakened with age. Acid reflux is uncomfortable enough, but at night, it has added risks. Sleep disruption. Even mild reflux can trigger microarousals, brief awakenings that you may not remember, but that break up the deep stages of sleep your body needs for restoration. Respiratory impact. Acid can travel far enough to irritate the throat and airways, leading to coughing, wheezing, or microaspiration, where tiny droplets enter the lungs. Cardiovascular. Strain. The discomfort and subtle breathing changes from reflux can cause a rise in nighttime heart rate and blood pressure variability, stress your heart doesn't need when it's supposed to be resting. The second problem is sugar load. Pineapple is rich in fructose, which, as we've discussed earlier, can spike blood sugar and insulin levels. Eating it at night means your body must work hard to process that sugar while your metabolism is at its slowest. In seniors, this can lead to elevated blood sugar levels for hours, contributing to vascular damage over time. I'll never forget Mr. Alvarez, a 70-year-old retired chef, who came to see me about his worsening nighttime palpitations. He described waking up several times a week with his heart racing and a sour taste in his mouth. At first, we suspected an arrhythmia, but his heart monitor showed the palpitations were linked to episodes of reflux that occurred within an hour of falling asleep. When I asked about his evening meals, he smiled and said, "I finish the night with fresh pineapple every time I can find it. Makes me dream of Hawaii." In his case, the bromelain in pineapple, which can have mild blood-thinning effects, wasn't the main issue. The real culprits were the acidity and sugar, both of which were hitting his system right before bed. The acid was triggering reflux, which disrupted his breathing and startled his nervous system awake, while the sugar was creating an insulin spike that interfered with deep sleep. The combination left his heart rhythm unstable during the night. Once, Mr. Alvarez swapped pineapple for a small handful of unsalted nuts and a few slices of cucumber in the evening. The palpitations stopped within 2 weeks. His sleep improved, his mornings felt more energetic, and he no longer needed antacids in the middle of the night. Pineapple isn't bad in itself. In fact, Eaten earlier in the day, it can be a refreshing, nutrient-dense addition to a senior's diet. The danger comes when it's eaten at the wrong time, right before bed, when its acidity and sugar content can do the most harm. And here's the bigger takeaway. Many fruits we assume are always healthy can cause harm simply because of when they're eaten. That's why in the final section, I'll give you safe, satisfying alternatives for evening snacks, choices that won't spike your blood sugar, won't interact with medications, and won't disrupt your heart or your sleep. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this discussion, it's that timing matters just as much as food choice, especially after the age of 60. A fruit that energizes you in the morning can quietly undermine your health if eaten right before bed. The good news is that you don't have to give up evening snacks entirely. With the right choices, you can still enjoy satisfying, flavorful foods at night without putting your heart, brain, or sleep at risk. Let's start with the big picture. The core problem with certain fruits at night comes down to three factors: high sugar content, causing insulin spikes and disrupting sleep cycles; acidity leading to reflux, breathing issues, and cardiovascular stress; drug interactions that can dangerously alter medication levels. By avoiding these triggers after dinner, you give your body the best chance to rest, repair, and recover overnight. Here are some brain-safe, heart-friendly alternatives I recommend to my patients. 1. Berries, earlier in the evening. If you absolutely want fruit after dinner, choose low glycemic options like blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries, and eat them at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. They're rich in antioxidants, low in sugar, and far less likely to spike your blood sugar than tropical fruits. 2. Avocado slices with a pinch of sea salt. Avocados are packed with heart-healthy monounsaturated fats and potassium. They support stable blood pressure, help keep you feeling satisfied, and won't cause dangerous sugar surges at night. 3. Greek yogurt with a few nuts. The combination of protein, healthy fat, and probiotics makes this a fantastic nighttime snack. It supports muscle repair, promotes gut health, and keeps blood sugar steady. 4. Cucumber or celery sticks with hummus. These are hydrating, easy to digest, and provide a satisfying crunch without excess sugar or acidity. 5. A small handful of walnuts or almond nuts provide magnesium, which can help relax muscles and promote better sleep quality. They also contain healthy fats that nourish your brain. 6. Herbal teas, caffeine-free. Chamomile, rooibos, or lemon balm tea can help relax your body and mind without the stimulant effects of caffeine. Just avoid adding sugar or honey late at night. Rules for safe. Nighttime eating. Finish snacks at least 2 to 3 hours before bed to give your body time to process food before entering deep sleep. Pair small amounts of fruit with protein or fat to slow sugar absorption and prevent insulin spikes. Stay upright after eating to reduce the risk of reflux. Check medication labels for potential food interactions, especially if you take heart, cholesterol, or blood pressure drugs. Remember, these guidelines aren't about denying yourself enjoyment. They're about protecting your body at a stage of life when it's more vulnerable to the effects of sugar, acid, and metabolic stress. I've seen patients transform their sleep quality, energy levels, and even cognitive sharpness simply by adjusting what and when they eat at night. In closing, I want you to think of every food choice as an investment in your tomorrow. The right snacks can help you wake up feeling rested, alert, and ready to enjoy your day. The wrong ones, even if they seem healthy, can quietly chip away at your health until a crisis forces you to change. Don't wait for that crisis. Start tonight. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more health tips made especially for you. Your health is in your hands, and with the right knowledge, every bite can bring you closer to a stronger heart, a clearer mind, and a longer, healthier life.